Good morning, guys. So I decided to make this video because I was feeling kind of like, ugh. I just woke up, made my bed, and decided to come onto YouTube because I feel better that way. Yeah, being a YouTube person. Yeah, drinking water is important when you're feeling well. So I probably look like I had a hangover. And I grew up my beard a little bit since last video. So why is my beard out? I'm going for the Jesus thing. Just growing it out a little bit. I'm probably gonna cut it off soon, but what else? Well, update on my project. I submitted part 1 and 2, and then I submitted an essay. With my last 3 submissions, I should have a grade in the 80s, which means once I get graded, I will have passed the class. So mentally, I'm feeling good about passing this class, but that's just the end of one chapter. Once I'm done with my schoolwork, I'm gonna have to find another job that pays a little bit more in the state of my choice. Right now I'm here in college, living here near campus. So I'm so excited for the opportunities that could come from this. You know, I could be a real business person or a businessman. The weirdest thing happened yesterday. So here in this city, I try my best not to get into any car accidents because people drive crazy here. And when you're a college student here, you're just on the chopping block. So I do my best not to get into any car accidents, and guess what? My roommate, love him, but as he was coming into the driveway, he hit my car. So sometimes you just can't escape. You just can't escape anything. But it was a rather small ding. A couple scratches. It's all right. Anyway, man, social media is the best thing. And you can connect with so many people on social media. I was on Instagram and I was checking out someone from Norway, and I was seeing like all these like Norwegian like snow photos, and then they went to like Ecuador, and I was in Ecuador once, and then I saw a bunch of other photos, and I was like, oh my gosh, I was there. So it was just really cool to see someone else, you know, someone else's trips and photos. So point is, social media is awesome. I love it. Anyways, you know what we could do? You know, I was thinking a lot like, I don't really have much to talk about. What should I do? And I think the one thing I want to do with y'all would like to read the Bible. You know why? Because I get to talk about something other than myself. Got nothing really to talk about. Alright, dude, so let's go ahead Let's read. Oops. Let's read Leviticus. It's the third book in the Old Testament. I'm reading Exodus with my mom, and I've already read Genesis a bunch of times, so it's a new chapter. It's a new thing. Okay, so this is it. You ready? I'm going to read chapter 1, pause, we're going to summarize it, then I might read chapter 2. Okay. By the way, this is the New American Bible. It's what the Catholic Church gives us, and I think it's great because my mom reads another one that's an old one, and the verbiage on those old Bibles are like really outdated. This one is like really good. It gives you good stuff. So, good descriptions here. So, chapter 1. The Lord called Moses and spoke to him from the tent of meeting. I'm reading Exodus, and in Exodus it describes how Moses is building the tent for God, for Lord. Okay. Now, speak to the Israelites and tell them, when any one of you brings an offering of livestock to the Lord, you shall bring your offering from the herd or from the flock. If a person's offering is a burnt offering from the herd, the offering must be a male without blemish. The individual shall bring it to the entrance of the tent of meeting to find favor with the Lord, and shall lay a hand on the head of the burnt offering so that it may be acceptable to make atonement for the one who offers it. The bull shall then be slaughtered before the Lord and Aaron's sons. The priest shall offer its blood by splashing it on all sides of the altar which is at the entrance of the tent of meeting. Then the burnt offering shall be flayed and cut into pieces. After Aaron's sons, the priests, have put burning embers on the altar and laid wood on them, they shall lay the pieces of meat together with the head and the sweat. That's not sweet or sweat like we know, that's like S-U-E-T. That's another word. It's a new word from the vocab. Let's look it up. I have my dictionary here. Merriam-Webster. She's amazing. Okay, so the sweat that they're talking about is spelled S-U-E-T, and that simply means necessary hard animal fat. It's the animal fat around the kidneys. Alright, good to know. On top, put the head and the meat together on top of the wood and the embers on the altar, but the inner organs and the shank shall be washed with water. The priest shall then burn all of it on the altar as an offering, a sweet-smelling oblation to the Lord. If a person's burnt offering is from the flock, that is, a sheep or a goat, the offering must be a male without blemish. It shall be slaughtered on the north side of the altar before the Lord, and Aaron's sons, the priests, shall splash its blood on all the sides of the altar. When it has been cut into pieces, the priest shall lay these, together with the head and the sweat. That's the kidney fat again. On top of the wood and the embers on the altar, but the inner organs and shanks shall be washed with water. I just thought I read the same thing over again, and I largely did, but it says it twice. One is for herds, The other are from animals from flocks, or something like that, I think. From a flock that is a sheep or a goat. So I guess the earlier one wasn't a sheep or a goat. There's some difference. Yeah, the earlier one was a bull, I guess. Okay, so that's what it was. The earlier version was a bull. This one is a sheep or goat. So it's really the same thing. Okay, so if a person offers a bird as a burnt offering to the Lord, the offering brought must be a turtle dove or a pigeon. Having brought it to the altar, the priest shall wring its head off and burn it on the altar. The blood shall be drained out against the side of the altar. He shall remove its chrism by means of its feathers and throw it on the ash heap at the east side of the altar. A chrism is the area around the anus of the bird, lying beneath the bird's tail. Aww. Then, having torn the bird open by its wings, without separating the halves, the priest shall burn it on the altar, on the wood, in the embers. It is a burnt offering, a sweet-smelling oblation to the Lord. Okay, so we just read Leviticus chapter 1, and that largely talks about offerings to the Lord in the tent. Because that tent that was being built in Exodus is supposed to be a holy tent of some sort. And so, oh my gosh, there's so much like cutting open of animals here and so much blood. I mean, could you think about like all the people these days, the children and families who don't get to see all this blood cutting and stuff? Don't you think we're missing out on all this good stuff? That's actually sarcasm. Um, it is a bit gory. I've never seen that much gore before, except for one time when I saw like a turtle got run over in a car. That was pretty bad. But essentially, this is some like ancient ritual stuff. We don't do this kind of stuff anymore. And that's okay. Alright, so that was chapter 1, guys. I kind of like what I was reading. I want to go ahead and read chapter 2, but I'm going to go ahead and put you on a pause so I can get a drink, and I'll be right back. Hey guys, so I'm back. I had some water and stuff, and now we're ready to rock and roll. So, we are on Leviticus chapter 2, which is the grain offerings. When anyone brings a grain offering to the Lord, the offering must consist of bran flour. The offerer shall pour oil on it and put frankincense over it, and bring it to Aaron's sons, the priests. I messed up reading there. It's okay. I'm going to go on. I just want to acknowledge that I said the Aaron's sons when I should have said just Aaron's sons. I don't know why I do that. Okay. A priest shall take a handful of the bran flour and oil, together with all the frankincense, and shall burn it on the altar as a token of the offering. A sweet-smelling oblation to the Lord. The rest of the grain offering belongs to Aaron and his sons, the most holy portion from the oblation of the Lord. Alright, so we need to take a small minute, a small second, a small break to check out what oblation means, because I can guess it means some sort of offering, but we already said the word offering, so what does oblation mean? A small oblation for the Lord. The act of making a religious oblation. The act of offering the Eucharist, elements to God. Something offered in worship or devotion, a holy gift offered, usually at an altar or shrine. Okay, so yeah, got it. It's an act of an offering. When you offer a grain offering baked in an oven, it must be in the form of unleavened cakes made of bran flour mixed with oil, or of unleavened wafers spread with oil. If your offering is a grain offering that is fried on a griddle, it must be of bran flour mixed with oil and unleavened. Break it into pieces and pour oil over it. It is a grain offering. If your offering is a grain offering that is prepared in a pan, it must be made of bran flour, fried in oil. A grain offering that is made in any of these ways you shall bring to the Lord. It shall be presented to the priest, who shall take it to the altar. The priest shall then remove from the grain offering a token and burn it on the altar, as a sweet-smelling oblation to the Lord. The rest of the grain offerings belong to Aaron and his sons, the most holy portion from the oblation to the Lord. Alright, so these ancient people thought that when you burned an offering, like a bird or a goat or a bull or bran flour made into fried griddle food, once you burn it, it smells sweet, which is interesting. And I guess everything that once you burn it starts to smell sweet, isn't that right? Cool. Alright, now, every grain offering that you present to the Lord shall be unleavened, for you shall not burn any leaven or honey as an oblation to the Lord. Such you may present to the Lord in the offering of the first produce that is processed, but they are not to be placed on the altar for a pleasing odor. You shall season all your grain offerings with salt. Do not let the salt of the covenant with your God be lacking from your grain offering. On every offering you shall offer salt. If you offer a grain offering of first ripe fruits to the Lord, you shall offer it in the form of fresh early grain, roasted by fire and crushed as a grain offering of your first ripe fruits. You shall put oil on it and set frankincense on it. It is a grain offering. The priest shall then burn some of the groats in oil together with all the frankincense, as a token of the offering and oblation to the Lord. Mind you, that's groats with an R between the G-O, not goats. And so we just finished reading chapter 2, and that is largely about offerings that are made of grain. I think grain, I think wheat, I think little seeds, and I think things that make bread. And it seems like we have a few more offerings. We have the communion sacrifices, the purification offerings, the daily burnt offering, special cases offerings, preparation offerings. And then we go into the ceremonies. The ceremony, which discusses ordination, sacrifices, the octave of the ordination. Now I have no idea what that is because I don't use octave at all in my present language. But then there is something, then we start talking about Nadab and Abihu. Those are Aaron's sons and how they're priests. Because remember, Aaron's made a priest in Exodus, and then all of his descendants are supposed to be priests as well. Okay, so then we go on to clean and unclean meats, uncleanliness of childbirth, scaly infection, fungal infection of houses, sexual uncleanliness, the Day of Atonement, the scapegoat, sacredness of blood, various rules of conduct, priestly blemishes, holy days, holidays. I talk about the holidays that are to be celebrated. More offerings. Okay, great. So that's it. So I see what Leviticus is. Leviticus seems like a bunch of rules in regard to the offerings. Pretty simple. Great. We're going to take a small break. I'm going to be right back. We might read this whole book in like a half hour. Hey guys, what's up? I'm back. I just went to my car, got some water out of it, put some water in the fridge, made some soup, ate a sandwich. But we're going to read chapter 8 while my soup is cooling. Or chapter 7, really, which is the reparation offerings. So this is the ritual of the reparation offering. Oh, and by the way, right now we're reading Leviticus, and I read Exodus in my spare time with my mother. And I realize that this part is largely like the story part. It's not so much like the morals or the behavior so far. A lot of it's just story mode. And I guess I'm just trying to say I like the story part. I like history. I just want to read the story. And that's why I'm reading Leviticus. Because I don't feel like Leviticus is ever really covered. Everybody always talks about Psalms or Jobs or Proverbs. Those talk in like first person, like to you. They talk to you like about how you should behave. This is the story, and I like stories, so if that makes sense. Let's just continue reading. Reparation offerings. This is the ritual for the reparation offering. It is most holy at the place where the burnt offering is slaughtered. The reparation offering shall also be slaughtered. Its blood shall be splashed on all sides of the altar. All of its fat shall be offered. The fatty tail, the fat that covers the inner organs, and all the fat that adheres to them, as well as the two kidneys, with the fat on them near the loins. In the lobe of the liver, which is removed with the kidneys, the priest shall burn these on the altar as an oblation to the Lord. It is a reparation offering. Every male of the priestly line may eat of it, but it must be eaten in a sacred place. It is most holy. Because the purification offering and the reparation offering are alike, both have the same ritual. The reparation offering belongs to the priest who makes atonement with it. My landlord above me is moving around, and I feel like I'm in a submarine. I'm listening to his echolocation because if he's up above me and I'm trying to talk, it's going to give me a headache. All right. I don't think he's coming over here. Oh, he's moving again. Okay. Because the purification offering and the reparation offering are alike, both have the same ritual. The reparation offering belongs to the priest who makes atonement with it. As for the priest who offers someone's burnt offering, to him belongs the hide of the burnt offering that is offered. Also, every grain offering that is baked in an oven or made in a pan or on a griddle shall belong to the priest who offers it. Whereas all grain offerings that are mixed with oil or are dry shall belong to all of Aaron's sons without distinction. Communion sacrifices. This is the ritual for the communion sacrifice that is offered to the Lord. If someone offers it for Thanksgiving, that person shall offer it with unleavened cakes mixed with oil, unleavened wafers spread with oil, and cakes made of bran flour mixed with oil as well kneaded. You shall present this offering together with loaves of leavened bread, along with the Thanksgiving communion sacrifice. From this the individual shall offer one bread of each type of offering as a contribution to the Lord. This shall belong to the priest who splashes the blood of the communion offering. The meat of the Thanksgiving communion sacrifice shall be eaten on the day it is offered. None of it may be kept till the next morning. However, if the sacrifice offered is a votive or voluntary offering, It shall be eaten on the day the sacrifice is offered. And on the next day, what is left over may be eaten, but what is left over of the meat of the sacrifice on the third day must be burnt in the fire. If indeed any of the flesh of the communion sacrifice is eaten on the third day, it shall not be accepted. It will not be reckoned to the credit of one offering it. Rather, it becomes a desecrated meat, and anyone who eats of it shall bear the penalty. Should the meat touch anything unclean, it may not be eaten, but shall be burned in the fire. As for other meat, all who are clean may eat of it. If, however, someone in a state of uncleanness eats the meat of a communion sacrifice belonging to the Lord, that person shall be cut off from the people. Likewise, if someone touches anything unclean, whether it be a human uncleanness, or an unclean animal, or an unclean loathsome creature, and then eats the meat of the communion sacrifice belonging to the Lord, that person too shall be cut off from the people. Prohibition against blood and fat. The Lord said to Moses, "Tell the Israelites, you shall not eat the fat of any ox or sheep or goat. Although the fat of an animal that has died a natural death or has been killed by wild beasts may be put to any other use, you may not eat it. If anyone eats the fat of an animal from which an oblation is made to the Lord, that person shall be cut off from the people. Wherever you dwell, you shall not eat any blood, whether of bird or of animal. Every person who eats any blood shall be cut off from the people." Boy, that's really strict. Cutting people off from the people. Like, what if it was a child and they picked up a little something and then just ate it? Wouldn't that be wrong to cut them off? But I understand. They must have their ways of dealing with it back then. So, portions from the communion sacrifice for priests. I'm stopping because I wanted to say something earlier, but I forgot. I just kept reading. Anyways, portions from the communion sacrifice for the priests. The Lord said to Moses, "Tell the Israelites, the person who offers the communion sacrifice to the Lord shall be the one to bring from it the offering to the Lord. The offerer's own hands shall carry the oblation for the Lord. The person shall bring the fat together with the brisket, which is to be raised as an elevated offering before the Lord. The priest shall burn the fat on the altar, but the brisket belongs to Aaron and his sons. Moreover, from your communion sacrifices you shall give to the priest the right leg as a contribution. The one among Aaron's sons who offers the blood and the fat of the communion offering shall have the right leg as his portion. For from the communion sacrifices of the Israelites I have taken the brisket that is elevated and the leg that is a contribution, and I have given them to Aaron, the priest, and to his sons, as their due from the Israelites forever. This is the priestly share from the oblations for the Lord, allotted to Aaron and his sons on the day that they were brought forth to the priests of the Lord, which the Lord ordered to be given from them from the Israelites on the day they were anointed, as their due throughout the generations forever. This is the ritual for the burnt offering, the grain offering, the purification offering, and the reparation offering, the ordination offering, and the communion sacrifice, which the Lord enjoined on Moses at Mount Sinai, at the time when he commanded the Israelites in the wilderness of Sinai to bring their offerings to the Lord. So that was the summary. They actually gave a summary here. And I'm just going to repeat it in my own words. We just covered the offerings that Moses was to tell the people on Mount Sinai, or those are the offerings that Moses was learned of on Mount Sinai, which I'm sure he later told the people. At any rate, there's a lot of blood, a lot of fat, a lot of gore, a lot of burning of animals and stuff like that, and that's just the way they did it back then. I don't really have much to say about it. Anyways, I'm gonna go eat some soup. I'll be right back.